Hi there, Dave Markham for UU Way of Life. This is the Tuesday night class, session number 7. I hope you've enjoyed our other meetings. And we have been studying and talking about the first principle of Unitarian Universalism, which is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the idea of identity. Michael White, the narrative therapist, whose model I use a lot in my work, talks about identity stories. If you want to know about a person's health, you would get his or her health records. If you want to know how they manage their finances, you would probably get a credit report. If you wondered what kind of a driver they were, you'd get their driver abstract from the DMV. If you wanted to know how well educated they are, you might ask for their academic transcripts. Or if you wanted to know what kind of an employee they were, you might ask for their employment history and permission to check their references. And if you wanted to know what kind of a life partner they were, you might talk to their spouse or their partner. And if you wanted to know what kind of a parent they were, you might speak to their children, or to find out what kind of a son or daughter they were, you might speak to their parents. Or if you wondered what kind of a friend they were, you might talk to their friends. Or if you wondered what kind of a citizen they were, you might look at their voting records or ask about any other civic engagement or volunteer work they've done. So we all have multiple identity stories, and of course the expert on your identity is you. And any one of those identity stories, or we could think of it too as reputation, is but the tip of the iceberg. So when we talk about who is this person that has inherent worth and dignity, are we talking about their ego, the social roles they play, the various identities that they have in the perceptions of other people? Or are we talking about something quite different, which might be their soul, their spirit, their innate, inherent worth and dignity? In some religious traditions, they call this the witness. The witness is that part of us that can stand outside of ourselves and observe our body and our physical changes. It can observe our thoughts and see how they change over a period of time. They can witness our emotions and watch our emotions rise and fall. Our witness also can observe our personality and notice our personality traits and say, I'm this kind of person or that kind of person. I am an extrovert or an introvert, for example. So are we our bodies? Are we our thoughts? Are we our emotions? Are we our personalities? Are we our social status? No, those things are changing all the time. The thing that seems to be the constant, if there is any, is this witness that can observe our physical, cognitive, emotional, social, psychological functioning. That is our true self. And when we look deeper at this, our self is really part of a system. We are, no man is an island, as John Donne said. Our consciousness, our self-awareness arises because of our interaction and interpersonal relationship with other people. So we're back to the 7th principle again, that we recognize that we're part of the interdependent web of all existence. And without that interdependent web, we would not even exist. So we are part of what is called in A Course in Miracles the atonement or the at-one-ment. The atonement is where we came from when we were part of the all and where we will return to after we leave this bodily existence. So we start to recognize that our welfare and well-being is intimately connected with other people. It's hard to know where I end and you begin. If I tell a joke, I enjoy it a lot more when I have you to tell it to. And when you laugh, it adds to my enjoyment. The gymnast asked her coach and said, I'd like you to teach me how to do how to do splits. And the coach says, well, okay, how flexible are you? And she says, I'm free any day but Tuesdays. Yeah? Do you like that one? I like that one. I thought it was kind of funny. How flexible are you? So at any rate, when we sing in a chorus, we enjoy it a lot much more when we have the enhancement and expansion singing. It says in A Course in Miracles that we learn what we teach. One of the reasons I like doing these Tuesday night classes is it helps me articulate my thoughts and feelings about the ideas that are discussed here, and I learn a lot from doing this. I probably learn more than you do because I have to think in a more slower, intense way about what I'm going to say than it takes for you to just listen to the ideas I'm sharing with you. A new feature on Tuesday night class is a response to questions. So I've ended the other classes saying, feel free to share this video with your small group ministry or with a friend or family member and discuss the ideas that arise here in our discussions. And I have also invited people to send me questions or comments at davidgmarkham@gmail.com. davidgmarkham@gmail.com. And I got a question this week from somebody who said, why do you think there is such a lack of spirituality in Unitarian Universalism? That's a very good question and something that I've pondered ever since I came to Unitarian Universalism over 10 or 11 years ago. Having been raised as a Roman Catholic, there is not a tradition in Unitarian Universalism of mysticism or spirituality. Most churches in Unitarian Universalism have been described as more like social clubs and social activities and social justice organizations. And one of the things that I have found lacking in my Unitarian Universalist experience is more the lack of an emphasis on spiritual growth and development. I think most of the liturgies are kind of mediocre, and the hymns are I don't know, contemporary and kind of popular, but don't have the weight of some of the great Catholic and other Protestant hymns. And so one person said to me that the reason there's a lack of spirituality is because Unitarian Universalism is trying to create too big a tent and wants to include everybody. which includes people from all religious traditions, or as well as atheists and secularists and humanists. And so to talk about God, talk about the transcendent, talk about the divine, seems awkward in a lot of circles. People object to that. And so when we talk about a transcendent spiritual experience, it's hard to find a vocabulary that resonates with people. Again, we believe in our 7 values or principles. We do not believe in a creed. However, I think most Unitarian Universalist preachers do not do a good job delving deeply into those 7 principles, which we all hold dear. Some do. I listen to UU podcasts from several preachers, and in many cases, I am moved, and my faith and spiritual depth is enhanced. So I appreciate that, but I think they're kind of few and far between. Secondly, I think Unitarian Universalism could become more coherent and consistent if it focused more on the perennial philosophy, theology that comes from the multiple faith traditions. In our 6 sources, we pay lip service to that, but it's rare that I've heard a good sermon that took a spiritual concept and compared it or articulated it from the numerous sources that the Unitarian Universalists claim to draw from. However, I think should we focus more our seminary training for our ministers on that perennial wisdom, I think that probably the richness and depth of the spiritual life communicated through our ministers to our congregations could be greatly enhanced. Thirdly, I think there's a lack of recognition of what the Christians call the body of Christ, or the fact that we are all part of a cosmic consciousness. And so when we even talk about our first principle, inherent worth and dignity of every person, it kind of misses the point, because it takes all those people together to have inherent worth and dignity. No one person possesses it alone. It's a shared phenomenon. That's what makes a church special, is that people's strengths and weaknesses hopefully are complementary, and the church has inherent worth and dignity as a body, but various individuals exhibit behavior that is less than exemplary. And so one of my favorite bumper stickers says, you're unique just like everybody else. You have inherent worth and dignity just like everybody else. So the focus is not on the individual. It's not on me. It's on everybody else, of which I am just a part of that church body. And so I think there's a lack of appreciation of the importance of the community. Again, it's seen as a social club. It's seen as a social action, social justice group. But in terms of being a single consciousness, sharing deep spiritual values that nurture one another, too often the facilitation of that awareness leaves a lot to be lacking. Thanks for the question. I'm not sure that I answered it. If you have your own answers about why do you think there is such a lack of spirituality in Unitarian Universalism, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to see what your thoughts are about that. I appreciate your joining me here tonight, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Till then, have a good week. God bless you.